Welcome to From Doubt to Drive, Entrepreneurs Only. Join us on an inspired journey through the ups and downs of successful entrepreneurs. Our hosts, Mario C. Bauer and Florian Schneider, will explore how conquering doubt is essential for entrepreneurs to truly unleash drive. By being a part of our community, you too can learn how to propel from doubt to drive. So tune in, buckle up, and enjoy.
Welcome and welcome back. I'm really excited today. We have a female founder with the biggest and positive energy I know. And Florian, before we start, what's your favorite Turkish food? And don't say döner. What is it? What is it, Florian?
Okay, if I have to exclude döner kebab or lahmacun, I would go with the sweets. The Turkish sweets, they are incredible.
I didn't know that you have a sweet tooth, Florian.
Sometimes.
You go for the Turkish sweet. That's
you
good.
excluded the döner for me, so I have to.
That's true. So let me introduce today's guest. We have here Gamze Cizreli. I hope I pronounced the last name right. She's the founder and chairwoman, because it said in her description chairman, but we need to change that. She's the chairwoman of the board from Big Chef. And Big Chef has over 100 restaurants, 13 countries, 4,000 employees. And Big Chef is a public company on the stock market in Istanbul. And Gamze is still 25% shareholder. And I read up that Forbes nominate her as the top 50 female entrepreneurs in EMEA. She's probably top 5, but Forbes wanted to be humble about that. Welcome, Gamze.
Thank you, Mario. I'm so happy to be with both of you.
Yeah,
How
we're
are you,
very excited. I'm very good. I'm sitting here in Sri Lanka. I just took the tuk-tuk driver 1 hour to get to a hotel with decent internet connection to talk to you. But Gamze, I want to travel back with you to 2006. 2006, you divorced your husband. You had 2 kids by yourself. You gave the business to your ex-husband, and you had this new big dream, which actually became Big Chefs. But before realizing this dream, you went to 6 banks in a row, and 6 banks said, no, we will not give you the money. And now, obviously, retrospective, we know that the 7th one gave you the money. But I want to drive back. What gave you the strength? So what made you not giving up back then? I mean, you got 6 no's. You had no money. You gave everything to your husband. You were alone in a country which is not supportive of female entrepreneurs, I guess. Yeah. What made you not giving up, Gamze?
Strong passion. You know what? If you have a strong passion to make your dreams come true, so you try and try again. I think the hardest moment for me is that to find the money, as you told, you know, I didn't have any money, and I need an initial investment while creating the Big Chefs, the first Big Chefs. And in those days, there were not a lot of angel investors like this is today, and startup supports. The only way to find the money was either getting a bank loan, or just go with a partner, with a family partner or a business partner, find a partner. So I didn't have a good experience in finding a business partner. So the only way was to find the money from a bank. I tried for 6 banks, and they all rejected me. And at the end, but I didn't give up, because I thought that I have a strong passion. I had the network, I had the knowledge, I had all the know-how, everything. The only missing thing was money. So I thought that I could find it, no doubt.
But how many banks there are in Turkey? I mean, there's not so many. You probably already reached it.
Maybe it was like as a total of 10, and the 6th was rejected. The 6th said no, because I couldn't show any collateral as a security to the bank. The banking system
Just your
gives
passion.
the bank loan. Yeah, because you have to have a property or a land or something, a building, just to give as a security. I didn't have anything, unfortunately, but I convinced a credit manager of a bank that when still we are in connection, and I sometimes call him. Now he is retired right now, and he lives in the west coast of Turkey, near the Aegean side. My dear friend Nevzat, now we became friends after that, and he always says that your eyes were sparkling when you were telling that I need this money to open the big chefs, because you have a great passion and you were so excited. So I thought that as a bank, we could get that risk of yeah.
And Gamze, you talked about the passion and your dream. So back then, what was your vision of Big Chef? I mean, we all knew what it became, but what did you feel is the differentiator or the vision of Big Chef? What was it back then, your idea?
Yes, the Big Chefs is an all-day casual dining. It's a cafe brasserie concept which serves breakfast, lunch, and dinner. But the differentiation point is Big Chefs was born with a globalization mindset, which means think local, think global, but at local. We are so much more focused on our roots. The Anatolian taste, the Turkish taste, Levantine, like Lebanese, Syrian, all the East Mediterranean tastes, but with a global mindset. All the servings are with a piece of flour, with a piece of candy. We serve the teas and coffees with some little details. And female touch. It has a lot of female touch. And the second one is it has a very homey atmosphere, which Gretel from the food service magazine says, oh, this is a public living room. When she first saw our Frankfurt restaurant in Main-Seil, she said that, oh my God, the carpets, sofas, fireplaces, bookshelves, everything. So the home atmosphere makes it a lot of difference. In 2007, it was almost 17 years ago, and it was the first one in Turkey which has an open kitchen, homey atmosphere, and female touch in all the servings. So all of them makes Big Chefs so different from the other brands. So I have this vision, and to be honest, I didn't have a vision to become as big as today, like more than 100 locations, and went to public. But I thought that it will be not a local brand in Ankara, which was the capital, which was first founded in Ankara. But I thought that it will grow and grow, but I didn't think that as of today. No, it was not my dream, honestly.
Gamze, this podcast is about doubts and hassle and struggle and everything, and you actually have so much energy that I have the feeling we rather talk about your drive than about your doubts. But you said at the Food Service Forum in Hamburg, beginning of March, when you were on stage, don't put all eggs in one basket. Now you are operating in 13 countries. So and you mentioned that. Can you walk us through your challenges that you might have had back then when you became international with your brand?
Yeah.
Was there anything specific where you say this was really tough?
Yeah, I believe that we should not put all the eggs into the same basket. We should put in the separate baskets, because countries can face some challenging times in terms of geopolitical issues, economic fluctuations, like wars. And so when I first decided to go to international, we first tried the Gulf region, which was Dubai, in Kuwait, and this region, in the Gulf region. And it was not easy to be. First of all, you have to choose the right partner. We were not successful. We were successful at the beginning in that region, but right now we closed all our locations in that region because we couldn't find the right partner. Our partner there was a very, very big construction and real estate company. Mm-hmm. They make like billion dollars, real estate developments, big developments. And having them the franchisee and the landlord and the tenant and everything in the same, mm-hmm. They didn't deal with our brand a lot because, the food service is, if you go into a new market especially, you'll need a lot of focus on it. Making the best team and everything, and with the professionals in a big company, in a big real estate company, which is the revenue is a peanuts for such a big company, $billion investment company. So it was lost. So the brand was lost. So we all closed all the locations in the Gulf region. Mm-hmm. So now it's a big challenge for us that it's very, very important to choose the right partner who will deal with the same passion, who has the same vision and passion with you. Mm-hmm. So what we do in Germany, when we come to the West, first we operated our own operated restaurant in Frankfurt, and then we make JVs in the other cities like Oberhausen, in Belgium, Antwerp, in Stuttgart. So they are going very good right now. And we're opening one in the Hamburg, mm-hmm. as I told in the Food Service Summit as well, in the Übersee Quarter, in a very nice complex, because it's under construction. So we are so happy with the German market, by the way, and we will definitely expand into Germany. Now we're looking for the new cities and new opportunities. So it's not easy in terms of the regulations of each country is different, like the fire regulations, municipality regulations, license agreements, everything. But when you get used to it, now it's, I believe, focusing on a country is much more easier to go in lots of countries. So we now focus on Germany, Belgium, mm-hmm. and Netherlands, maybe the Holland, this area, which also a Turkish community, the population of the Turkish community is high as well. Mm. So we're so happy to go into the new markets and the new geographies.
A fun story, Gamze, is you will become neighbors of Florian, because Florian will open with our friend Peska a fish restaurant in Übersee Quartier.
That's right.
So you will soon be neighbors. The best Turkish food and the best fish in one scheme of Westfield, Hamburg.
Okay,
that's true.
So we will help each other. We need your help.
Absolutely. I'm happy to help. Let me just go back to one point, because this might be interesting for our listeners. When you closed down in Dubai with your former partner, what did that make with you personally? Because it was your baby and you grew internationally, and then you had to shut it down. I mean, that must make something internally with you, or did you just put it aside and say, let's go and move on?
Yes, we just put it aside and go back, because it's not, the company was a so big company, and it belongs to half of the company belongs to the governments. Mm-hmm. So it's, government and private together. So usually in those regions, the business goes like that. So we couldn't do anything, honestly. Yeah, and we just put it aside. But now we're looking for new opportunities. We're just having some meetings with the new investors, new franchise candidates, or we're just looking for some opportunities to open self-operated big chefs in Dubai, because Dubai is a very, very big and still growing market, as well as the Saudi Arabia is, I think, one of the best promising market in that area. Maybe you heard about the new projects coming, just billion dollar projects. So we're still focusing on the Gulf region again, but we just put aside and everyone goes on because they were the landlords as well. So we just left everything and we took our jackets and come back to our country.
The next chapter to open. I remember when we last talked, Gamze, on the Food Service Summit in Zurich on stage, we made everybody laugh in the audience because I quoted you and I said, you always have to grow in the countries which have horrible own food. And then I said, you need to go to Netherlands where I currently live because there's not good local food. But it was like, it's all about, you said, it's all about the partner. And it's also that the market needs to be ready for that kind of food. And then you provide them the living room. And I also read, you will finally open your big dream in London. You always wanted to open in London. And it seems that this year is the year. You're going to go to London, Gamze?
Yes, definitely. Now, yes, we are looking for a location in London as well. But, it's a very competitive market. And it's very expensive. The rents are so expensive. The competition is high. But it's a very challenging market at the same time. We never think to go and open restaurants in Italy or in France.
To good
food. Yeah, very good food. You should be crazy to go and open a restaurant there, But in Germany, it's excited, the potato hot dog, okay, but, some kitchens, some food culture, like Spain. The Spain, it's a very, very strong food culture. It's not easy to go into those markets. Yes, locals are demanding other cuisines. Yes, I agree. For example, one of my friends from Italy is telling me that we don't want to eat pasta or pizza or some Italian food anymore when we go out because we make those foods in our homes as well. But those countries are a lot of tourist attractive countries, so you have to attract the visitors as well. So I believe that the countries who are ready for the new cuisines, start to new cuisines, another very strong food cultures are good markets for like an all-day casual dining concept like us.
Sure.
Because when we go to a country, we cannot open one or two because we just make a headquarter there. So in order to make it more effective in terms of cost efficiency, we have to open at least 9, 10, 12 in the coming 5 years. So we should go into the countries which is a population as well, not a very small
it needs a certain size.
Well. Yeah,
it needs a certain size.
Yeah, it should. The size is so important.
Gamze, I want to come to the next point. You're also now a book author, and the translation of your book, it will come out soon in Germany. I heard it. The name is Those Who Play with Fire. I think that's the translation of your book. And in the book, I read there is a chapter of uncharted territory. And that reminds me to one question which I always ask here in the podcast. There is a German word, and the word is called Schwellenangst. And Schwellenangst is the threshold of going into the uncharted territory. It's the fear to stay in our comfort zone and not go into this uncharted territory. And us entrepreneurs, we always have that. We have that several times through our career, that we know we need to make the next step, but we are afraid because there's a door and we need to walk through the door and we don't know what is there. And that fear is called Schwellenangst. So I want to talk to you with how you deal with Schwellenangst, how you deal with that fear before you enter the uncharted territory? And maybe also give advice to our listeners. Mostly of them are entrepreneurs, some of them in our industry, some in the other industry. How can you help them to overcome their Schwellenangst?
As I told in the beginning of the speech, I think the passion and if you have a passion to make your dreams come true, you don't see lots of problems as an obstacle. For example, you don't see the obstacles as barriers. So it becomes so easier to step out of your comfort zone without much difficulty. When I decided to make a global brand, and I say that I will make it happen. So I just went to Dubai several times. Okay, I was not successful there. I chose the wrong partner, everything. But okay, what is next? So I should try more, because if you know what, I make my own SWOT analysis, Mario. We make SWOT analysis for the companies, for when going to the new markets. I make my own personally. What is my strengths? What is my weaknesses? What is the traits? What is opportunities? So, for example, for me, if I know the business very well, this is my strengths, and I have a good network. Let's say I have a lot of experience. Okay, if I put those in it, of course there will be some threats and some weaknesses, like there should be a lot of competitors in the new markets, or traits are, the economic fluctuation. So there are wars, and the Israel problem and the Hamas problem, lots of problems right now. There is a very, very uncertainty in right now in all over the world. But I say that, okay, my weakness, my strengths and opportunities are much more than the weaknesses and the threats. I go, no doubt.
You go.
Yes.
No Schwellenangst. Make your SWOT analysis, Florian, and then no Schwellenangst.
And then just go. Gamze, can you...
CNN founder Ted Turner, I think you know the CNN company, CNN. And he says, set goals you cannot reach, so you have something to live for. If we have something to live for,
to thrive.
A target, so set goals you can't reach. I usually goals that I can't reach, not easy to reach, not I can't reach, but not easy to reach. So I'm living for that, to reach that goal.
I like
so that's what I do. Yes.
Can you, Gamze, can you maybe take us back in your life, business life, personal life, to a situation where you were facing a real big challenge, and describe that situation and how that actually felt?
I think the most difficult part is finding the money. I will not tell it. We talk about it. And the second one is I think the gender inequality in the food service market was a big challenge for me as well. For example, when I just founded this Big Chefs in Turkey, when I go to lease a place, for example, a shop, to lease a place, usually the landlords, especially the traditional landlords in Turkey, is asking me, will we talk the money with you? Don't you have a partner or a husband or a man that we should talk about the money? We won't want to talk about the money and the negotiation with you. Can you believe this?
Yeah.
We are living in I don't know whether it can be happen in Germany or in Holland, in some countries in the Europe, but this is the situation in Turkey.
This is reality.
As a woman founder, yes, you can cook, you can be a chef, but you cannot be a founder and you cannot be a businesswoman that you are, expanding, you're trying to expand your company, talking about the money issues, negotiating about that. So
how did you react? Did you react in that situation? Like, how did especially in the early days, now you have like all the success behind you, but like, how did you react back then when this landlord said, so where is the man to talk money? So how did you react?
There is no man, I said, that you will talk with me. And they were asking me, okay, are you sure that you will be able to pay the rent and you will be in the second, while I'm trying to rent my second location in Ankara? I remember today that the landlord asked me, are you sure that you will be able to pay the rents and you're not signing the contract, but are you sure? Yes, I said, I am 100% sure. And if you lease your location to a man, the same risk with me. So you have 100%. To trust me.
Sure.
Yes, you have to trust.
I think even more risk to give to the man.
Because the women's payback in the bank loans is the highest in each country in the world. There's some statistics, that. So, but I had a lot of,
But it became one of the missions. You also support a lot of female entrepreneurs, and then the first time, long time ago, when a friend brought me to Big Chef in Turkey before you grow to Europe. The person who brought me in told me all about like how you support the female suppliers and the female people working for you and the stuff. So you became also like a role model, an icon for the local female entrepreneurs.
Yes. It's not easy to be a female entrepreneur in the countries like us. So after I became, I came when I climbed the ladders, and then I decided to help the new startups, especially in the agriculture, in the production, in the food production industry, because there are a lot of especially in the rural parts of Turkey, in the small villages, who are trying to produce something, but they don't have the market to sell. So we just incorporate them into our supply chain. And in 2018, we began with 14 producers who produce, for example, asparagus, goat cheese, pomegranate sauce, like quinoa. They're small farmers, women farmers. And now we now more than 100 producers in all around Turkey. And this, from women producers to our table, this project was chosen by the United Nations Global Compact as the best practice in the food service industry, which is incorporating the women producers into the supply chain. So I'm proud of this project.
You can be. You helped a lot of entrepreneurs. When people hear you talking, they will not believe the next thing. But I read an interview, and the question was, what are people most surprised about you? And you answered that I'm sometimes tired, exhausted. And hearing you talking with all the energy, it's quite difficult to believe. But when you have these moments, Gamze, when you're really tired after a big struggle, after roadblock, how do you regain strength? Do you meditate? Do you do sports? Do you talk to people? What are you doing to regain strength or drive?
Exactly. I am much more, I have been dealing with the Sufism. You know the Sufism? Have you heard about it in Rumi? Yeah. And my father has passed away 10 years ago, but he was a medical doctor and he was dealing with the Sufism, and he was a big fan of the Rumi's philosophy. And he teach me a lot. And during my, for example, I lost my mom 2 months ago, very unexpected death.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, thank you so much. And of course, I felt so tired, so sad, and I felt, I was just asking myself, the life, what I'm doing, running and running every day. So, a lot of different thoughts were in me. So I always read the philosophy of the Rumi. I meditate. So how you were in Sri Lanka like that? I travel. I go to Konya, which is the center of the Sufism. Sometimes I go to India as well. So by myself, only by myself, alone. Mm-hmm. So just stay alone, talk with my inner voice. Stay with me, stay calm, and body, mind, and soul all together comes to have to be balanced. So that's what I do. I usually do that.
So we need to talk, Gamze, because
breathing is very important.
We need to talk afterwards because I'm checking into a Buddhist monastery for 1 week next week to meditate. So I'm already kind of scared. So I need to pick some of your recommendations. And you should join me here in Sri Lanka, Gamze. We can go together. We can go together to the monastery. Yes. Well, you wanted to say something. Yeah, sorry, I interrupted.
Gamze, is there something right now that keeps you up at night? Is there something personal, business, the world situation? And you touched that already a little bit where you say, this is really bothering me right now.
Yeah, I'm much more focused on the sustainability issues right now. I had today in the early morning, there was a sustainability summit in Istanbul, and I got a certificate of one of the sustainable leaders in Turkey, 50 best, the most sustainable leaders in Turkey. And I just the leaders who have a lot of concerns about the climate and the food waste and everything. So now I'm much more focused on what we can do in our company, like as a total of 102 locations with more than 4,000 employees. As a big, we are one of the biggest food service company in Turkey. What can we do more as in terms of sustainability? Now I'm just thinking about it a lot. It makes me really, awake. And the second one is, the fluctuations in economy. We have a very high inflation rate in terms of the foods prices in Turkey. Maybe you heard about that, but we are more than 75%, 80% increase in the food, energy, and everything prices in Turkey. So we have to, we are a public company. We have to keep our profit margins at the same time, and we have to be our company sustainable at the same time, and makes our customers happy, make our employees happy, not to increase our prices because the purchasing power is being decreasing every day. So it's I think one of the most challenging time for our industry, food service industry in Turkey, and I'm one of the leaders in here. So everyone is calling me, all the journalists, everyone, what will be the solution, everything. So this is a very, very hard time for us right now in Turkey in terms of like a leader in the restaurant business. So yes.
And what do you do to get a positive turn out of this when journalists or colleagues or others talk to you? What is your advice then? How to overcome?
Yes, what we are trying to do is we are like not increasing the prices, but to more focus on the cost savings, everything. Like the energy, like the solar, we are just moving all our energy needs into the solar energy right now, and we invest in a lot of solar energy. We will increase it as well. So we are trying to make our costs and to lower our costs, because it will not be easy to increase the revenue in terms of hard times. We're working on it, but I never lose my hope. So
we can see that. Yeah.
I believe that with those hard times will pass, because Turkey has a lot of tourist attraction, and now the season is coming. 60 million is expected. More than 60 million tourists are expected this summer. So I believe that if we pass just a couple of months, everything will be better in the summer months. So the tourism, in terms of the currency, international currency, will come, and we will balance, I think, our balance sheets much more better in the last quarter, in the second half.
Gamze, towards the end of the podcast, we always ask for advice to young entrepreneurs, because we always interview here successful entrepreneurs. We talk about their struggles, their Schwellenangst, how they regained thrive. But when an entrepreneur comes to you, basically exhausted, tired, after like really facing struggle, and such an entrepreneur comes to you seeking for advice, what's the first things you tell this entrepreneur? What is the first advice Gamze give to a struggling entrepreneur?
Embrace uncertainty. It is very important in the times of this, this world.
So true.
And uncertainty is unavoidable while you're an entrepreneur. And instead of fearing it, we should see it as an opportunity to learn. So, the embrace uncertainty is very important. I can say the first one. The second is take manageable risk. We always say that taking risk is so important to become an entrepreneur. But it's about calculated risk. Sometimes the entrepreneurs misunderstood the concept of taking risk. Yes, unpredictable and irrational risk can lead to failure very quickly. So I always tell, take manageable risk and build resilience. So important.
Build resilience.
Yes, resilience is so important. So they should face a lot of obstacles, rejections, disappointments along the way. For example, I had a lot of obstacles and failures, as I told you. So building resilience is so important. We should make it. For example, the reason why I wrote that book is just to give when a young entrepreneur read my book, he or she can think that, okay, she has faced the same or very similar obstacles, right? Yes. So I should recommend them reading books, the biographies of the people who faced those kind of tough times, just movies, shows, and music that inspired them. It's very important, because life is not too long to make all the mistakes by ourselves. We shall learn from the mistakes of the other people. So, and the other thing that I can recommend is always plan in advance, plan ahead, but at the same time be flexible. Because in terms of uncertainty, yes, you have to be very flexible. So planning is great, but being flexible is the key, I can say, to the young entrepreneurs.
And embrace uncertainty is a really strong advice. Gamze, when is your book available in German or English? Because at the moment, I think we only have it in Turkish, correct? When is the translations coming out? Because there's a lot of wisdoms out there.
Yes, we are talking about the translation. The translation is the key point.
Yes.
So we are trying to find the best person who can translate it into the German. I think German version will come before the English version, because I was in the Hamburg and everyone was so excited about the book in Germany. So now we are working on it. I think not later than 2025 in the first half, it will be on the shelves, hopefully.
Super. We will keep our community updated. I mean, that's what you said. That's one of the big motivations from us to do this podcast, From Doubt to Drive, because we thought if we make the doubts, the struggle, the roadblocks relatable, because there's so many entrepreneurs out there and they say, it's only me who has suffered. All the successful people never suffer. But then when you interview all of them, and the more successful they are, the bigger struggles they are. And then you discover a red line of basically, if you are passionate, and that's what you said, you will always find a way. You will always find the door to walk through. And you have a great story to share. You have the right voice to share. You have the right energy to share. So we are very thankful that you shared part of your story. The whole story is in the book. So we also need to sell some books. So Gamze, thank you so much for your time. Take care.
See you in Hamburg.
Bye.
Bye. Oh, that was more drive than doubt, I would say.
That's definitely in the drive category. What an incredible woman. What a drive. What an entrepreneur. So inspiring. And I give a prognosis, Florian. She will not just be a successful female restaurateur. She will be a great book author and a great speaker. This journey has just started, and we are blessed to have her at the early beginning of
she's
that
full
journey.
Full of fire.
Full of fire. Yeah, those who play with fire. That's definitely her. What's on your learnings, Florian?
Well, she started with think global and act local. So she called it glocalization.
Localization, yeah. One of the key success figures of her concept. I mean, she summarized it. It's about localization, but it's also about the living room. No? She quoted Gretel Weiss, our dear friend from the Food Service magazine, who said this is like a living room. So building a living room and localization, taking this great Levante food, but making it relevant to the local audience.
Yeah, absolutely. Then something that many of our guests already touched is passion. You make your dreams come true. And if you don't see the obstacles and barriers, and you can actually surpass all those roadblocks. So
for her, it was so clear that she gets the money. She said 6 banks turned me down, but it was the passion which kept me driving. And she said I had everything. I had the right food, I had the right concept, I had the network. The only thing what I was missing was money, and I wouldn't give up till I get it.
Yeah.
Passion.
It leads over to her next point, her personal SWOT analysis.
That was very strong. Doing really being brutal. What's the strengths? What's my weaknesses? What's the opportunity? And what's the threat? And she said every time she did it, the opportunities outweighed all the threats, and she went for it.
Yeah. Another one. I mean, it was such an inspiring conversation with her. Set goals you cannot reach, so you have something that you actually can reach. It's also very smart.
Very smart. I mean, there's also some other concepts when you do the mission vision building. You build the BHAG, which is this big, hairy, ambitious goal, which is the North Star of your doing, and which shoot high. Yeah. But set goals you cannot reach, that you have something you can reach is smart. Yeah.
Never lose hope. Never lose your hope. That's also what she said.
Never lose your hope. Never lose your hope.
Yeah.
Definitely.
She went. You were asking her what she's doing to actually regain strength and power, and she said she meditates, she reads, travels, breathing, talk with her inner voice.
Listen and talk to the inner voice. I was surprised that with such an outgoing person, you don't expect normally that they are so reflected and spiritual and meditative, and that she said she goes to the meditation camps and gets quiet. Because I was surprised, and I'm very thankful that I asked that question, because I was so surprised when I read this interview and I think it was in food service or somewhere, and they said, like, what are people surprised to find out about you? And she said that I'm sometimes very often tired. I'm very happy that we asked the question, because it brought us to this whole different nuance or face of her, which is let's call it the inner voice phase.
I think also one of the quotes I would strongly highlight is actually embrace uncertainty. Because this is what this podcast is about. This is what entrepreneurship is about. You have to embrace uncertainty because it is part of the business. You have to find a way to deal with that.
Don't fight it. You know it will come. Don't ignore it. I mean, if there is something sure that in our podcast so far, is that there is no success story without the failure before. There is no drive without the doubt. And this embrace uncertainty would have also be a great title for a podcast, actually, Florian, because I think it's summarized so wisely. And I think that's a great advice to give to somebody, to say, don't fight it, embrace it. It will come back and back again.
Two more things. No, actually, three more things. There was so much knowledge in that talk. Take manageable and calculated risk. And
we had it also with Durach, when you remember, he said, like, don't do things which kill you, do things which could only hurt you. Does it hurt you, or can it kill you? They calculated risk. I think that was a strong one. And then she also said, like, always have a plan, but stay flexible.
Exactly. Being flexible is key.
Being flexible is key. You can be so happy, Florian, to have her as your neighbor.
In Hamburg.
With Pesca in Hamburg, in the Überseequartier, with our friend Westfield, because these concepts